football improve every year?
Definitely.
Explain.
Definitely. Because everyone wants to be playing that brand of football. And what's happening? There was times I was watching Liverpool this year. It looked like a fucking masterclass. It was like, this is the brand of
Liverpool
football.
are digging out dead victories.
Say that again?
Liverpool were playing defensive this year, man. Hard. They were grinding.
Little bit towards the second half. But I think they were...
in football, but like, let's not act like it was dazzling, really.
Not being good football.
That midfield, like, we don't talk about that midfield. We don't talk about that.
No. Do you know what? Just got a point. But the thing is, that's because everybody was watching. All eyes were on Liverpool. Yeah, the pressure was up. Let's be real about it. We ain't had pressure like that in what? Since the 80s. No one expects us to win.
Pressure. Then all fold.
Of course it. No, listen. You lot were just sitting at home hoping we was going to lose. Yeah, but it just weren't happening.
My nigga.
That's all. Let's be real about it.
Yeah, we went down to football.
Yeah.
But if you're honest about it, Liverpool, there was many games they should have lost, and they would have gone from somewhere. Many games that they should have drawn, and then someone messed up, like a goalkeeping mistake or VAR. Or they got so much luck to win.
Yeah, we did.
Games. It's been unbelievable.
Yeah, but you know what? I think Liverpool deserved it. I think Liverpool deserved it. If you think over the seasons, Liverpool deserved that bit of luck this year.
They did deserve it because they was the best team this year, but they're so far ahead because of games they should have drawn, games they should have lost. Something happens and all of a sudden they win it, and it's like they haven't been great. They've not been dazzling. Like when we watched Pep when he came along and that team won it, they was amazing. What they was doing on the pitch was unreal. Like people was just like people talk about Pep's the best manager ever and all this nonsense. Like, do you know what I mean? And even Wenger teams, Arsene Wenger, the football they used to play was astonishing. Sometimes you're like, what am I even looking at?
Yeah, and they didn't win it.
I've done that. I've never thought like that of Liverpool.
No, but you know what? I will say last year when we didn't win it, in terms of our football, that was the year where you would have said, wow, they should have won it. But obviously, Vincent Kompany pulled it out of the bag. So what can you say? Do you see what I'm saying?
Just look at what Pep used to be the guy. Recently, he's the brand of football you want to play. So is Mourinho's brand. Right now, everyone wants to play Klopp's brand, and that's why it's evolving. You know, and it is getting better.
That style from a long time ago.
Exactly.
What's evolved? Like Klopp and Fergie. What's much different about their styles? They're quite dynamic. They want to attack and then defend well. I mean, I'm not seeing a massive variation here. Mourinho, when he won with Chelsea, easy, bro. When Mourinho went to Chelsea, they fucking dominated and scored the most goals record for their club. So what's really changing and evolving?
I think
doing more sideways passes, is that better?
I don't think it's passes. I think it's getting worse.
I think so, but also there's different eras, and you can look at where someone mentioned before about some dazzling football and stuff. Every great team has played dazzling football and looked ridiculous against certain opponents. Every team's done that.
So has football improved then?
Has football improved?
Has it improved then every year?
For instance, when Arsenal played, the style of football Arsenal had, they had to deal with Man United that was just direct. Their football was so direct. They're coming at you. They're swinging it in from the wings. Like, they was direct. Arsenal had to deal with that. Arsenal's football was more tiki-taka, pass, stylish football, very nice football on the eye. They played better football than Man United, but Man United would still win the league because their football was more direct, and then sometimes you would win the league. And then they had to deal with people like Bolton and all these other kind of teams that are just like stinking out.
So actually, we're talking eras again. Right now, is football better because of things like VAR? Yeah. And even like with lockdown happening, have you watched any Bundesliga, you guys?
I did.
Do you know what I mean? That's going to completely change the fucking face of football right now. Just the way that, you know what I mean? There's no fans. We were talking the other day. Watch that Dortmund match. It didn't look like players really wanted to tackle each other. They were like going in, but they were just a bit like, you know, I don't want to be too close, or maybe they've been told before the game you shouldn't go in really for it, and it's going to tame out football. Or the opposite's going to be happening, that all the people are training at home, they've been gagging to play, And maybe the quality of football will get better over the next couple of weeks because they're so gagging, or they all show who's been training harder. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but doesn't
Do you know? I want to say a point. Yeah, I don't know if you lot will agree with me, but I think like football nowadays it ain't improved, and the reason why I say it ain't improved is because now it's come like you can't really touch players. So it's like people look a lot better now because they're not getting real challenges. I don't know if you agree with me or not.
But the counter to that is you get a lot less time on the ball because everyone's got more energy and fitness, and they try and tackle you. And if you get past them, they get back up and try and tackle you again. Back in the day, when you did a guy, the man just sort of lying there like, "Fuck, you done me, man." Just like let him go.
You know what?
You tackle.
Yeah, but you know what?
Stop. Like,
yes and no, really, because I think like there's certain players who are physical players, and as soon as they go near a player, it's like always ref just blowing up, and then the whole VAR stuff and that, and the way it just gets dragged back to that. Like football ain't the same anymore. I don't think.
No,
I don't think football's the same.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I watched on YouTube last week. There was a Arsenal against United game from like 2002 at Old Trafford or something. And the first 20 minutes of the game, literally no football was played. It was just foul after foul after foul, constantly stopping. You don't get that anymore.
Yeah.
And it makes you think, like, did you like seeing a battle like Patrick Vieira against Roy Keane?
Yeah.
Like that kind of football. You know, Martin Keown and Ruud van Nistelrooy.
I think Van Nistelrooy doesn't help, frankly. His attitude.
Whereas now you've got more like, I think Pep kind of changed it with this tiki-taka with that Barcelona team. That's where it kind of changed and
did it improve?
Started becoming a bit softer. Would you say it's improved? Like, I didn't really, like that Barcelona team was unbelievable, but did you really enjoy watching it? Like, it was a bit boring, just pass constantly.
No, Barcelona were unbelievable.
Dominating possession.
Like, they were unbelievable. Like,
yeah, but
they're unbelievable.
How frustrating was playing against a Spanish team? When your club played against a Spanish team, how frustrating was it that every time your player went near them,
is
they
that
was on the
spectacle?
floor?
Are we talking about winning?
yeah, but Shell, that's just the thing that happens on the continent. Because I went and played over in Spain, innit? Like I done a tour last year over there, yeah. And the moment you touch someone, it's just in their culture. Do you know what I mean? It's just how it is. Like, the moment you touch a player, they're gonna throw themselves. Like on the continent, that's just how their style is. For me, I think football has got worse due to, if I look at all the teams, like, see, like if we go back and we look, like, say from 2000s to, like, say 2010, if we look at all the world teams, for example, all the countries, you'd always be able to say, all right, there's a good goalkeeper or a good defender, good midfielder, good striker. We can't say that now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think football's worse in the fact that the defending is terrible. The defending is so bad in football. Yeah. It's a joke. Like obviously, no disrespect to like Van Dijk, and obviously, like, I think Ramos is good, but Ramos as an actual defender, he's not good. He's not actually good.
No.
As an actual defender, winning the ball, tackling, doing things. Like Ramos uses his head and he's smart, but he picks up loads of red cards, yellow cards, things like that.
Big fat fucking cheat.
Yeah, no. I think Ramos is like, he's like, I like him.
But Magic, don't you think it's hard to be a defender now? It's harder to be a defender now.
No, I just think the art of defending's gone out the window. So the art,
can't touch no one.
Yeah. The art of defending's gone. So for me, it's made football worse because, like, I don't think Messi and Ronaldo could score the goals they score, like if they was playing from the 2000s to 2010s. There's no chance. Not with more defenders being much better than the defenders now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, they would still be good, but when these guys are scoring like 60, 70 goals a season, you got to ask yourself, wait.
What's going on there? What's going on? Yeah, of course.
If you put R9 in this kind of generation now.
Yeah, if you put R9 now, he's scoring minimum 60, 70, easy.
It'll be a disgrace.
Remember, he was up against Maldini, Cannavaro, like Nesta, guys who knew the art of defending.
Listen, love defending. They love defending.
That's what I'm
Them
saying.
guys there love defending.
They don't like to defend. Like a lot of these guys, it's more get the ball. Like what can he do going forward, and rather than, you know what I mean? Like when
Look at Pep. Pep don't train his defenders. He don't have nothing to do with his defenders.
You know what I mean? Like yeah. So I think football's got worse personally for me. Like and when I look at all the world teams, when like World Cup comes around, I look and I think, okay, like all right, France are heavily overpowered, and then you've got a team like all right, Croatia. Croatia have got good players in there, but I remember Croatia having like man like Davor Šuker, you had Boban, you had a lot of like other good players in there. Do you know what I mean? Like every team had someone like who's it? Finland had Jari Litmanen back in the day. Like you've got teams that had
Romania had
ballers.
Yeah,
like teams that had ballers from different countries. But now, like look at Holland. The Holland team now has got what Van Dijk, Gigi, and then like and Memphis, bro.
Memphis,
bro. They had like Bergkamp, Van Nistelrooy, Robin, like these guys, like proper.
Bad team.
Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, for me, football.
Yeah, I don't know. I think for me, like when I was young, growing up, I always assumed football was always going to get better. It's a bit like when you look at other sports, like motorsport, cars always get a bit faster, or when there's technology involved, or in like athletics, when a record's always getting beaten, right? But if you look at football, I don't know. I mean, obviously the athleticism has changed it a lot, which is what you were trying to talk about, sort of, Sheldon, right? And you and them a little bit. So the athleticism changed it a lot. That everyone is now an athlete, so there's a bit less time on the pitch. But I mean, I feel like maybe it's just periods, because I feel like there were definitely times in the 90s and the noughties where in the 90s there was a lot more artists. It felt like. That's just because the game was slower, but it felt like there was a lot more artists. You got people like Harji and Stoichkov and Laudrup and all these other random Europeans that we just don't seem to have anymore.
There was way more
right?
footballers back then.
There was a lot of players from around that just seem to be special that we don't really seem to see anymore. I think that's because in the modern fast era, you don't really allow for any specialism because everything's too similar and team focused. So yeah, I feel like in terms of what we watch now, is it any better than before? Probably not really. And now with all the VAR bollocks and that kind of stuff, obviously that adds another layer of shit. So yeah, I used to think it was always improving, but I think if you look back, I think the athleticism changed, but there's nothing to suggest it's better. And I guess if I don't know what rule set you want to pick, but if you pick the '99 team against the team now, what would happen?
Yeah, but you know where you say this thing about the athleticism was worse before, but the players were at the same level. So like you'd have every player going out and drinking 10 pints a night. Or after a game or whatever, before a game.
You know what I'm saying? The game was slower, so there's more artistry, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. So it's a slightly different game now, so it can be hard to compare that. But in terms of a spectacle, ultimately, well, what else are we here for? Like, you'd probably say it's not better. It's not better. It's not more enjoyable to watch now. I used to enjoy the artistry and the stuff you'd see back in the day, right? So...
Of course, but you know what? I always thought that, like, even back in the day when you had, like, some exceptional fast players, them type of players that even did go out and they weren't great athletes, they knew how to cut off people's angles and still clap them before they even got around. So
yeah,
it was like...
about Alvaro and Terry and guys like that weren't fast. You don't need to be.
Yeah, but they knew how to shut down fast players. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, where the new rules came in, right, it kind of sort of allowed... It gave the attacking players more leeway to get round defenders. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because now defenders have got to watch everything they do. They can't do nothing. They can't touch it.
Are we being grumpy old men? Because if you got like a 15-year-old to watch our football, what would he say?
Nah, but you know what? No. If you got a 15-year-old to watch our football, yeah, he'll see the likes of Zidane.
Imagine you're some age like that.
You got to think.
Football.
What's that?
We had Zidane, Davids.
To be honest,
Davids,
hold on.
All good and quick
players for like days.
Yeah.
Magic, did you ever try to compare the football from the two eras, from your son's era and yours?
Well, I showed my son about like the Man United team that won the Champions League, and obviously like when he seen that, he was like, wow, like they were sick, because he didn't know Ronaldo played for like Man United. Do you know what I mean? So he's only seen Ronaldo really at Madrid. And then when I was showing him the power levels of Ronaldo at United, he was like, "Raw, okay." He was doing that, yeah? I was like, yeah. He was sick, bruv. And he looks at football now and he just only likes, like Neymar. Do you know what I mean? My son really loves Neymar because of all the trickery. But I will show you, look, if you like that, watch Ronaldinho.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what?
Valdo. Watch these, man. Like, there's nothing Neymar's doing that's new.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you know what? I said that to my son. Yeah, my son was all like, his best player is Cristiano Ronaldo, right? But he likes watching Neymar and Mbappe. He bases himself off of Mbappe, right? But from the moment I put him onto Ronaldinho, yeah, I said, Ronaldinho, watch him for the way he plays, and Zidane for his touch. Yeah, he now plays for Chelsea, and his name's Caden. They call him Cadinho. Yeah, because the kid imitated everything he learned from Ronaldinho, and now playing that now in his football now. Do you see what I'm saying? So therefore, and he's 8. He's 8.
I like that. Educate them, man. Educate them on greatness. They need it.
Yeah.
Same for me in the music industry. All they think is like the newest rappers are the shit hottest. Guys, do you not know fucking who Quincy Jones is? No. Michael Jackson? Hardly. What the fuck is going on? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You've got to be educated.
It's true. It's true. And also, if you bring that into these times, you're now special. Because no one else is doing it. Everyone's trying to like look at the new people, like I say, Mbappe's, Neymar's, what's not. But if you're moving like Ronaldinho, you're going to stand out.
Yeah.
Just don't be shit when you're doing it.
Yeah, because my son, he thought football was all about just the goals. Because he was thinking, I've got to make sure I score X amount of goals. So when I come off the pitch, it's what I did. No one else done that. I'm like, no. It's about doing for your team. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you learned that later because I was on that. I didn't care if we lost. If I done bad.
Nah, you don't do them things, man. True still. You do not do them things, man.
You get me? When you get back to the team, I done bad thing. I don't know. We might have had 1, but I scored the 1 in it. So
I celebrated it.
Right. Last question of the day, because we're going to wrap this up in 4 minutes. 1 o'clock is.
We're ready.